thanks for coming, everyone. So we can finally start. So, you've arrived to our latest edition of DevOps and Agile Talks. This is the 22nd time we are doing this, and today we have quite a good event prepared for you. I hope you will enjoy it. We have two lovely guest speakers, and you can see that we have Akhil, who will do the first talk, and then we have Aleksandrs, who will do the second one. A little bit more about the presenters, then later on they will be able to introduce themselves. So, in general, this is the agenda. We start with the first talk, and then we do a quick lightning talk from our special guest. And then we go on a break for 15 minutes, and food should arrive around 7:50, and then you will have warm food as well. And for part two, then we have Aleksandrs, and after that we will have our talks part where the people who would like to stay, you can be involved into like open questions that hurt your heart. Like you can talk about any topic with like-minded IT people or not, or just people. And yeah, you can discuss topics that you want to talk with other people and get some advice or any kind of sort of just talk about it. It's fun as well. Yeah, so more about the past talk then will be explained later. So, a big thanks to our sponsors, lovely Workland, that provides our little home here for DevOps meetups. They've been gracious to sponsor us with these office space areas, and then we have the sponsor for today is Accenture and Arvato Systems Latvia. And now I would like to ask Uldis to say a couple of words about another event that we're having in the summer.
Good evening. Please take out your phones. Not joking. Those who don't take out their phones will be punished. You don't want to be punished. Please take out your phones. Yeah, I don't see the phones. I see the phone actually. Yeah, okay. You're ready for a little mob. So, first of all, please raise hands who know what this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've sent about 600 private messages. How many of you have received a private message from me?
I think I saw this somewhere.
Yeah, but
I don't
cool.
know exactly.
A lot of people don't know what that is. Obviously, you will check it out online, but right now you open the Meetup application.
I don't have
on those phones, please.
And press going?
You just register. You can always change that. But I want you to give an opportunity to yourself that probably on the 22nd of August, you're gonna be at an amazing event with hopefully also a few international speakers. These are just sponsors for today. We're planning a few more. And it's going to be amazing. Please, on those apps. And I'll be even, what's the name? More pushy. Once you have signed up for the event, you stand up. Yeah, thank you. So please keep standing. Please keep standing. This is a very bad flash mob. Thank you.
Like at school, first rows do other thing first, right?
But probably some hate me for this, but I'm waiting for everyone to get standing. I guess you can't find it. Thank you. Yeah, but these days, when everything's online, too much stuff is online, and well, it's very hard to get some real reaction from people. So this is the way. Okay, people still need some time. Yeah, you're getting better at this. Thank you,
You
yeah.
can do a QR code on the screen for events.
Now you know where to look for it. QR code does magic. There's a lot of people on the back who are not standing up. Here.
I can't find it.
You can't find it? Well, it's in our group. It's on the meetup app, just under
I will go to link
the
in
same group. Yeah, there's more people.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the same group. Just look for this group, the Latvia DevOps and Agile community, and their one of the events is this. And I promise you won't regret it. Of course, if your plans change, then you cancel. But for today, yeah.
Whoa. Okay, we just crushed the server. Already.
Okay, alright, thank you. Okay, yeah, people got tired from standing. Thank you, you can sit down. Thank you for your support. Tell your friends, family, your dog and cat and the little mouse about this event. Back to Edgar's.
So, now everyone's going to the summer event as well. Perfect. It all worked out. Alright, so now that we fully into standing, now you can know who we are. So this is the team who organizes all these events. We are a bunch of like-minded professionals, either from DevOps or Agile different groups, and we just like these kind of events and doing things for the community in general. So as well, it's the 22nd time, so it's going fairly okay, I'd say. Well, yeah, and some of the people you can see on this poster are here as well, like all this is that. Me, Vilmas, and I will join later as well. Yeah, this is us, and these are like the companies we work for, so it's like Center, Strategic Staffing, Evolution, Arvato, Zedis, and
Oh, someone is ready for karaoke.
It was not on agenda.
does it mean you know what's karaoke? And do you want to volunteer for it? That can be arranged. Okay, well that's in the future. You'll see what that is about. Okay, so the community goals we have is, well, basically to socialize with like-minded IT people, to do some kind of networking when there's no better networking with beer and pizza in the breaks or before and after everything, so you can meet your colleagues, existing ones or previous ones, and just to see what's happening in their professional careers. We try to grow as a community in general, and the community is getting bigger, and we are trying to get more people into DevOps and Agile. So these are one of the main goals as well. And throughout the presentations, you get to see some cool stuff, some newer technologies, what's latest and greatest, and what people are working on in their companies. We want to be everyone happy and everyone be great at what they do. And how you can find us is throughout Slack, I would say, would be the easiest way. Then we have LinkedIn, Facebook, meetups where you register for this event and for the summer event as well. And through DevOps LB, we post all the news, all the articles about how the event went, what's going to be next, and you can follow through DevOps LB as well. And if you want to be one of the presenters, you can apply for it as well through DevOps LB. We have a section where you apply, you leave your contact information, and that's how you get it.
So that's the moment when you all sign up right now.
And now you
And
stand
in 5
up.
minutes we continue.
know, everyone comes up with
Especially
it.
for the summer session. As far as I heard, there are some speakers still
Yes.
wanted.
Yeah, for the summer session, we will have around 20 speakers going in different like lanes and topics and the ways how it's gonna go in the summer event. So that should be like a very big event. Alrighty, enough of me babbling around. Let's get to the interesting parts. So, I would like to introduce you to Akhil Reveendran Nair, and with his lovely topic about the future of DevOps, which he will talk about a little bit more. Okay.
Thank you.
Alright, so we do a quick switcheroo.
Yeah, and for my question, a side question, is it still on? If not, we will survive.
This is always the fun part of the technical issues.
Yeah, but you have to select the screen.
That's not.
Right.
Entire screen, yes.
Yes, and now you go wherever you want.
Yeah, no worries.
Should
You
work.
can just tab out from this and do your stuff. Okay.
Should work.
That's good.
Okay, and thanks Edgar, and that was quite a good start. In fact, the light is hitting me here. Okay, let me find a good spot first. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So, to start with the future of DevOps trends and predictions. Before starting that, so this is going to be a high-level overview of some new technologies and tools that's happening in the DevOps field. And end of the session, if my laptop don't dies, I'll have a GitHub Copilot session also, kind of a demo. I can show that one. So yeah, that's all about the starting. And in fact, I forgot my introduction line. So let me just start with the introduction of myself. So I'm Akhil. Basically, I'm from India. This is the first time I'm joining or presenting this Agile and DevOps community in Latvia. Overall, I have around 12 plus years of experience in IT infrastructure and management. Out of that, around 7 years, almost 7 plus years, I'm completely into this Azure DevOps and cloud, and I'm more experienced into this Azure and Microsoft product. And like my examples and all those stuff will be mostly into Azure. So if any AWS or Google guys, please excuse, but hopefully I have included some of the contents related to other cloud technologies also there, and hope that one will be, that will cover all the technology aspects there. So that's my certifications actually I did during my free time and all. So I have did my certifications on 104, 303, 304, and ITIL. ACET 400, ACET 500. Looking forward for more certifications in the upcoming days. That's all about myself. And this is today's agenda. introduction that's already done. And the first topic will be the growing importance of observability. And then we will be looking forward for AI and ML, machine learning, automation, transformation. I mean, how that is transforming in the futures, and DevOps as a service. So almost everyone is a DevOps engineer, and what's the new term called DevOps as a service, DaaS. And then a big flavor of this DevSecOps, I'll be explaining how their life cycles and everything will be happening. And then this AIOps use cases, so that will be already covered in the AI and ML session. And then the conclusion, that will be end of the presentation. And after that, I will be going for a GitHub Copilot demo. Like if you have any cool ideas, maybe we can try it out. I'll do some basic stuff, and we can, if you have any good suggestions, you can also try it out. So before going to the first observability thing, as it's a future of DevOps, I should start with the past and present, like how that technology evolution. It's a rapid change that's happening in this time. So if you see in the DevOps or the cloud migration or the cloud journey, that is like so fast and so rapid changes that is happening in this technology world. I still remember, like I started my career back in 2012. It was like I was working as a Windows administrator, and that was pretty cool time. I don't know, like how many of you have worked with a physical server like HP, BL570 or ILO. I know like a lot of non-technical people also there, but still I just want to know, like someone if you have worked with a physical server or something like that. Anyone?
I have seen a physical servers. We have, in one place we had a room full of physical servers, yeah.
I can build data center, like for corner,
Good for you.
for the
Yeah,
hardware.
I can understand that pain. Like, you know, you have to take all the switches, routers, configuration, hardware changes. That was like a difficult time. I mean, thanks for that, by the way. So, more into this on-premises stuff, it was like a pretty cool one. You will get hardware alerts, and it will take months to replace it, and that was the structure. Thank you. So the overall structure of a team that consists, like managing the IT infrastructure was like there will be a data center, analysts will be there, they will be taking care of all these physical and hardware stuff, and coming to the software part, there will be like OS people, OS team will be there, like Windows administrator, Linux, network, storage, and application team separate. So how the development and all these stuff was happening at that time was like developers, they used to push their, or they used to develop some application or the stuff, and they will be using this physical environment or the physical servers. They will be deploying it inside that one, and people from different OS or the application team or the network team, they will make sure that the communication or the application is exposed to the internet, and they have to take care of a lot of barriers in between, like the network, like the firewall, and all those stuff. So this, during that time, it was like a hectic task was like managing this underutilization and overutilization of servers or the resources whatever allocated to a single application. So think like a small application that is running inside a huge server, but that is not utilized properly. So there will be they can run multiple applications, and that will be like overutilized. And these kind of problem addressed when they introduced the virtualization concept. So in the virtualization era, many companies like VMware, Hyper-V, Microsoft Hyper-V, they came and they addressed this underutilization and overutilization issues. And a new team also got introduced, like hypervisor or a virtual, VMware admin or a Hyper-V admin. So basically they will be dealing with this virtualization session of that specific environment or that specific data center, whatever they have managing. And then still the problem exists. They need to take care of the data centers and the servers, and they need to take care of all these aspects along with this virtualization piece that they have newly introduced there. And then cloud journey happened. So I still remember during the initial days of Microsoft Azure, it was like Azure Classic one. What people was thinking was they just replicated their exact physical environment to the cloud environment. So they just took that piece from the on-premises and they just built all the things in the cloud environment. That made them if you're working in the cloud, you know how the cost is gonna happen. Each pieces they will be charging huge. So obviously another problem arises cost optimizations and all those stuff. So why I'm saying this story is in the upcoming session there will be some relations. For example, in the DaaS, why the DevOps is changing to DaaS services. So the problems what we are identifying in this whole journey, that will be, anyways, that will be addressed in the future. So that's what the prediction. It is just a prediction. If this is not happening in the future, don't blame me. Don't question me. So that's the journey. We had the on-premises and the virtualized era. Now the cloud journey started. They have a resource template and IAC, they can build up the environment very easily. So technology was rapidly changing. And we'll go for the next one. That's a term called observability. So during the whole time, it was just monitoring. You need to monitor your application health, you need to monitor your infrastructure, if the server is down or your application is not accessible, something like that happening, you should have an effective monitoring system that needs to be enabled. But now, you won't be hearing that term, going forward, it will be changing to observability. So what is the change from this monitoring to observability? Basically, the difference is the importance has changed from the infrastructure or the application. Applications still have the importance to more into the data what we are dealing with, or the data what application is dealing with. The first one, logging framework. We have a when we speak about Azure, we have Azure Log Analytics and application insights that will be managing or collecting the data from these infrastructure components, application components, and other resources what we are configuring. I have included the example for this Elasticsearch, Logstash, and you will have other paid tools also available in the market. So why data is important? That's the first thing we need to consider. I'll take an example how many of you are ITIL? Heard about ITIL or ITIL certified? Okay, very few. So.
Oh no, I'm not.
Really? You should go for it. Yeah, it's a cool stuff. By the way, so there is a concept or the framework called ITIL that deals with the operation, how smooth we can, how to make the operation much smoother. And in this ITIL v4, the version 4, there is a new module added called event management. Now, it is nothing but how effectively we can manage the events that is triggering from a system. Basically, we know about the monitoring stuff already. In the infrastructure side and the application side, we know about, we have configured this monitoring and all these stuff. How, or like, I don't know, that question is valid or not. How many of you heard about proactive and reactive monitoring? Two, please, yeah, great, good start. So, in the normal cases, or like normally when we are spinning up an infrastructure or deploying an application, we will be configuring our monitoring always in a reactive way. Like once the issue happened, it should trigger an alert, then the engineers will get that alert, they will be working on that to resolve that issue. So that's how the conventional monitoring stuff was going on. In the reactive monitoring, sorry, that's the reactive one. The proactive monitoring stuff, how exactly that's happened. So once an issue is going to happen, if there is something, some anomalies that is going to happen in the system, a smooth running system, there will be some alerts or events that will be triggering along with that. Say like there is a service running there and something is going to wrong, so there will be an event track there. During the development phase also we can consider this, there should be like a, we are tracking a lot of logs, information, warnings, error, like don't want. So always we need to, filter these logs into a granular level. Like we need to channel that into, very useful way. For an example, I'm running an application, like I'm running a small website here in my Azure DevOps, and when during that development phase itself, I should be like very clear about the event collection or the data that needs to be ingested to this log search tools. So based on that, we can have a proactive monitoring setup that will be triggering the events or alerts, not alerts actually, events or data properly into the our logging framework. Why this is important, we will see in the next slide, the AIOps thing, how that is going to work. And then the monitoring system, like we had a native monitoring systems available for creating the alerts or the, using these matrices, it will trigger the alerts and all those stuff. So that will be in every cloud provider, they are providing a native system. But some, other third-party companies, some paid tools, they are providing a more effective monitoring solutions like Datadog. For example, Datadog, they are having a lot of, matrices and custom agent installations in a different cloud provider or in a hybrid environment, we can use that one. So these are all like, kind of the future, like how effectively we can. Datadog, it was already there, but still they are providing some AI solution, AI integrations and all those things with, along with this Datadog like new versions. And full stack observability platform. Before that, I'll come back with the distributed tracing. So this one will be having a combination of all these features like logging and traceability and alerting system. Everything will be included in this full stack observability platform. That's an example, like again Datadog. So we can create some cool dashboards of your infrastructure health, your application health, and if there is any anomalies and all those stuff. Back to the distributed tracing. So, have you heard about this Kubernetes or like containers? Again changing, yeah. Oh, everyone is familiar with that term. So it's basically microservices. Now the servers are also going. They are also going to the past, and it's like basically, I can explain like Kubernetes, how exactly it's like containers. Like there will be a hosted agent pools will be running inside that application will be running as an independent agent as a containers. So that will give more flexibility to deploy your applications and work along with multiple applications and logical namespaces. So that is more, happening right now in the tech world. One of the problem what we are facing is like historic data or like historic logs of this. Say like I have deployed an application. There are multiple pods running on it, and once the pod got killed and it got recreated, there will be like no trace of events that happened or one of the pod got exited and it's in a failed state, and I just deleted that. So right now it's in Azure. In the context of Azure, I'm saying it's a bit hard to get that data or the logs, why that pod got killed or some disruption, server disruption that got happened, and those kind of things that we can include it in these distributed tracing platforms like Yager, CloudMate, and SipKims. So in overall, it's like the monitoring, the word monitoring itself is changing to an observability and with more capabilities and more terminologies. So I'll go to the next slide. That will be the automation with AI and ML. So as I said earlier, we are collecting logs, we are collecting alerts, and if there is something goes wrong or the repeated task, we used to automate with some simple PowerShell script or Python or some simple Bash script, and all these with all these languages we used to do some bit of automation stuff. How that is going to be transferring to the future with AI and ML? That's one we are looking here. So I'll start from the last. AI ops, it's something called artificial intelligence in operations. I'm again taking the same example like how an event management system in a proactive way we can integrate this AI ops for such kind of system. So it is not only in the operation part, we can use it in the DevOps pipeline like frequent build failures happening or like code fixes, bugs, everything. We need the data. That means when there is a pipeline execution happen, there will be some data generated, and we need to, in a granular level, we need to review this data, we need to transform that data, and we need to train the AI system. So in the next slide, I'll be explaining about the stages in this AI ops, how we can integrate these stages. So the first thing will be the training. So that will be like collect the label data to train ML algorithms. So machine learning algorithms, there is a lot of languages are available right now in the market. One of my favorite is Python. So before getting before this training stage happen, we need to filter out our logs or the data that we are currently pushing to the logging framework. Until and unless we are having a clear data or the clear data which can process. So say like when we are executing or implementing a process for our day-to-day operations or like day-to-day work, we need to have a clear-cut process. The manual step should be, we need to adjust that in such a way like it should be similar, that everyone should be following the same manual step. Then only we can think about the automation. If I'm coming, just taking a random example like I see two doors, people are coming like this, people are coming like this, and I need to do an access card or something like that. So everywhere if the door is there, it's very hard. I know that's a lame example, but I'm just trying to get it simple actually. So we need to review the data in a granular level and adjust that in a very useful way. Then only we can go for the training for these ML algorithms. Then the automate data collection and triaging. This part we will be, the training, the ML algorithm is trained with the data, so it can identify the data which is an issue, which is not an issue, which can be considered as a warning. All this stuff we have considered there, and then we are automating the data collection there. So data will be ingested into a server like SQL server or like a Postgres server. We can inject that one, and we can do the triaging activities like the ticket should be generated, and these kind of tickets, this will be the resolution actions. All this stuff we will be managing over there. Efficient data segmentation, AOps enables automated resolution. That's the next step, resolution automation. How that can be, or say like an event happened, like there was a service went down, or the service got stopped, and what would be the resolution action? Is that a mandatory service that affecting the day-to-day operation of that specific application or the servers? Something like that we need to consider, and we need to segment that data, like okay, this is from the service, or this is from the application, or this is from the infrastructure. Segment that data for the automated resolution. That's an important step. AOps must adapt as users, apps, and the usage changes. It uses ML to analyze the data. So when you are performing an automation activity, or when you have implemented something with the AI thing, I see that there was a lot of protest when the ChatGPT and all these things are coming up. You will lose your job, you should not allow it to use it, but in a tech world it will be making your life much more easier. So that's an important step. You should adapt the situations, or like how the applications and the usages, how it will be coming, that will be important one. End of the thing will be the monitoring stuff. So there will be always a scope for continuous improvement on the, along with that, you have to frequently monitor like the changes or the issues that that currently, or the gaps that is happening in that process. You should always do the monitoring, and there should be always a scope for improvement, and so that's the stages of AOps. And then it will be DevOps as a service. Everyone heard about the term DevOps. So DevOps engineers, what they does, they will create the build pipeline, they will execute it, they will deploy it, they will monitor it, and that's their job. And what is the difference between a DevOps as a normal DevOps and a DevOps as a service? So considering taking an example like a big business, they have transformed their business into IT, and they have adopted the cloud, say like Azure or AWS or GCP or whatever available, the cloud provider. They adopted this, and they have built their own internal DevOps team. So their job will be managing, work along with the developer team, deploy the code or get the code, build it, and deploy it to the servers or containers, whatever. Run it, monitor it. If there is any issues, fix it. And there are some gaps, that has been finding recently, like the improvement area, say like a center of excellence. There are a lot of teams called the center of excellence, and something they apart from their daily routine jobs like building an infrastructure for a new release or deploying their routine pipelines, and health check of their services. There will be other aspects like security and cost optimization, a lot of things. So the challenges what's happening now is like everyone was flowing through this cloud journey, and they are just randomly migrating their smoothly running applications in the on-premises to the cloud environment. And once they have moved to the cloud environment, only they are identifying that the operational cost or the infrastructure or the management cost, it's bit more, not bit more, it's way more higher than the one which they were running in the on-premises system. So that's the point, this DevOps as a service concept that is coming in. There will be organizations who are focusing on this DaaS model. It is just a model, business model or the service model, where there will be a lot of experts who are into in this DevOps field and knowledge about different tools and experiences of different tools. They will be coming into the picture and they can take up these other aspects, as I said, the cost optimization, performance optimizations of the current environment. If the companies or the organizations, they are planning to adopt the cloud journey, they don't have an internal DevOps team or they have an internal DevOps team, but they are already occupied with the existing tasks. So these are kind of the consultations that is that are organization consultants they will provide to improve the operability or the service health or the coding standards, all these stuff. So that's where the DevOps as a service coming into the picture. So these are the cloud providers. They are offering these DevOps services like source code management, package management. Most of them, everyone will be familiar with this also. Not everyone actually. The DevOps engineers will be familiar with this source code management, CI/CD pipeline, and workboards and all these stuff. Apart from that, there will be like source code testing and unit and integration testing. Sorry, not source code. Unit and integration testing. Project. This infrastructure automation, we are using like different tools again. There IAC and like Terraform, Biceps, ARM templates. There will be a lot more. So that's a overview like in different cloud providers, what are all the services that they are offering with their cloud native DevOps platform. Cool. Interesting one. As I said, the security also in another aspect. In the last slide, integration of DevSecOps methodologies in our existing pipelines or along with the projects or the application when you are building. So security was something that we have not considered until there is an issue happens, like a security breach or your data has been lost or someone, some ransomware has affected your entire network. That's how the story was before. After this DevSecOps methodology or this DevSecOps principle that is coming into the picture, it was like not after deploying. During the planning phase itself, it is important to consider the security. That's what the entire methodology. It is like it should be starting like this. During the plan phase, we have a threat modeling. Microsoft provides like a threat modeling services, change impact analysis that will be happening, and in the build phase, SaaS like static analysis of security testing and dynamic analysis, vulnerability scanning, and during the test phase also like pre-production phase also this vulnerability test and DAST we can handle that. So in the deployment phase like chaos engineering. So chaos engineering is something like checking the resiliency of your system. So have you heard about Chaos Monkey, Netflix Chaos Monkey? Right? I think most most of you have heard about that. So they will be, it's a piece of software that will, run into your system. It will randomly shut down the servers or like application, or it will just disconnect so that it will check the application what you have built is withstanding that shutdown. Say like Netflix or Facebook, few of the servers or their entire data center got shut down, but it should be still available for the users. Then only we can use that, or the user experience will be improving there. So for that only, this chaos engineering that is coming into the picture, and access and configuration management, like your system should be having a least privilege access for all the users or the applications or the APIs that is using in your system. And operation stage, we will be having patching, log collection, runtime assessment, security protection, that is RAS. Along with the application runtime, it will be running along with that application, and it will be protecting from any of these that issues that's going to happen. So that's the operation phase. Then continuing with the monitoring, vulnerability monitoring, access control, and everything will be handling. The cloud providers, most of the cloud providers providing the native tools for that. And apart from that, a lot of open sources are available in the market. If you guys are interested, you can reach out to me, or if I got another chances, I'll have a more detailed, session on these topics. So I'm just running off. I'm just running behind the time, I believe. So these are some few of the use cases where we can implement this AIOps, and different domains that is mentioned there, like in the DevSecOps, security breaches with prevent the security breaches with log intelligence, DevSecOps, CI/CD, observability and pipelines, FinOps, lower cost providing compliance, full stack discovery, and IT operational improvement of operational efficiency and intelligence, and service of automated incident resolution for L1 and L2. That's a continuation of this event management, how we can better implement this event management module with this AIOps. And that's all about my presentation or the future. There is a demo also. So I will.
Alrighty, thank you very much for your presentation, and now we have time for questions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Hey, I have a question. So, I'm not a DevOps guy, right?
Yeah, sure.
But I just want to hear your prediction as a professional. So, we had a DevOps, now we have, like we're talking about for a while, for DevSecOps. We can add in like DevSecFinOps. We can, for how much longer we will keep the adding stuff until you guys will say, okay, enough, and just do some machine learning and AI, and just we will go and drink our beer somewhere in Bali, for example.
That was a nice question actually. That just reminded me like last week, we had a discussion. I had a discussion with Andris. Like, he just asked me like, what's your topic? I said like, it's a future of DevOps. Hey, that's quite simple. Some robot will come and take your job, and you can sit at your home and you can drink beer or something like that. So it's all about the adaptability. Like technology is changing, tools are changing. As I said in my first slide, when I started, what I was using or what was working, that is entirely different right now what I am doing. The same question I had, what I will do with the Windows administrator, what I will do, I got an alert like one of the service got stopped, I'll go there, I'll just start it, and the incident got closed, that's it, I'm done. And when I'm thinking from that stage to this one, it is like, when you are in such kind of situation, like when you are going, I mean, obviously I see that getting the right opportunity, that will make you to learn a lot of new stuff. Else you need to make an effort. That's the only thing, survive in this rapid or fast-paced technology changes. You have to adapt it. You need to understand what market demands. What is the latest technologies? Like this is just an insight, like things that is going to happen in the future, or like the upcoming changes, something like that. So just to try to be up to date. It's obviously, like I never want to repeat that one, like every speakers or the in these kind of every meetups, people used to say like at least spend like half an hour per day. But I'm not saying that. We just follow some Instagram or like Facebook. There will be a lot of tech talks and tech pages that will be there. Just follow that. At least you will get to know about one term, one terminology. So later you will whenever you go somewhere else, you will hear it, and that will make create some curiosity in you. Okay, what is that? As you said, the DevSecOps, FinOps. So you just learn the term. So tomorrow if someone is going to ask, you will check for that, what exactly was that. Okay. So like that, adapt to it. Any other questions?
Yeah, could you recommend few good open AI ops models? So yeah, like you have for the code Llama, like Stability AI, something open but specific for AI ops, and like how many parameters it was trained and so on. Yeah.
Okay. That's not actually my plan, but I was like already, he said the stop already. But I tried this open GitHub Copilot thing. You can add it in your ID, like if you are using this I'm using Visual Studio Code, and I just enabled that extension. That is pretty cool. Whatever, like without the boundaries of this cloud provider or like languages, you can just type in whatever you need. Today morning, within 5 minutes, I just built a simple calculator app. I just write like I need a calculator app, and that should do like 10-digit calculations. And I don't know, like within a minute, it just write the code in Python, and then I just write like I need a UI, like front end for that one.
But it's like Copilot for coding. I'm more precisely for operations, for monitoring really large cloud farms, hundreds of servers, really something, not for coding, not for supporting Python.
Okay.
Pure coding operations, load balancing, and security. Something which was trained on thousands of logs and so on, exceptions. Yeah.
So that's one of the good example where this you can do this AI ops. So again, without the coding stuff, or without there is a correct ML algorithm, we will not be able to achieve that coding stuff. Right? We used to do this simple PowerShell or shell script that used to restart or shut down the servers on a frequent interval. And when it comes to native Azure, in the with Azure, if I am saying we are using these runbooks, Azure runbooks, that will be managing these daily operation kind of stuff, that will be that is necessary for that operation stuff. And apart from that, coming to the AI part, there will be like Azure machine learning solutions will be there. In that we can, it's all about the data, like the events that that is making the systems are injecting, and you need to collect that, and without that coding part, I don't know, like how we can achieve that. But still, I'll be looking forward to that question. Like I'll search for some open source AI tools or the solutions that we can implement a smooth operations, or like having this automation stuff into the.
I haven't seen that somebody company digested a lot of data, and as you said, the runbooks and basing on the events, so automated that the model sees the data, the event, and knows how to behave.
Understood. But that's a good question. But surely I'll something to look for me also. But I'll check and I'll get back. And thank you all. That's it.
All right, thank you very much for your presentation, and we have a small gift for
Oh,
you.
really?
Yes, as a presenter. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. If you have any more questions, then you can approach Akhil then later on in the break room. And now we are not yet into the break. We have a lightning talk. So lightning talk is ready.
Breakdown.
Like this?
Yes, yes,
I can start?
yes.
Okay.
Go.
Okay, so now you can breathe out the easy part, the simple part. So I will have like a 10-ish minutes, right? So if it will be like 15 maybe, no? Okay? Okay, don't blame me, but that's really interesting stuff here. So my name is Andris, I'm efficiency leader, professional certified coach, an Agile coach, and I think it's not the newest version. I sent you today the newest version of presentation. This from today?
It says May
It is from,
2024.
yeah, but it's from today.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
sent it.
The
Okay,
latest
cool.
version you sent.
Okay, I will see. So,
I hope it is.
how many of you saw the Cameron's movie, The Titanic? Can you please raise a hand? Okay, cool. So yeah, it said it's not a Valentine's Day today, so we can watch some parts together. So, as you heard from previous talk, there are a lot of tools, a lot of directions to follow, a lot of techniques to try on, and my today's story will be about the consequences of these choices you can make or decisions you can make, right? So, do you remember, or do you know who is this guy from the movie? This is the screenshot from the movie. Any ideas?
Radio guy,
Sorry?
chief mechanic.
No. So this is Joseph Bruce Ismay, and he was the chairman of the White Star Line. And White Star Line was the travel company who built or asked to build one of the biggest steamers in the world, right? They have a lot of ships. They have some routes from England to New York and other cities in the North America. And they were also like moving here and there some cargo, and he was the chairman of this company and all the other companies, some other companies as well. And what he got this company from his father, and his father was already building one of the biggest ships in the world, and he decided that he wants to like build the biggest actually, and bigger than his father did. So the Harland and Wolff in the Belfast was the company who actually built this ship and some other ships. And those are like actual photos. And I'm not sure if do you know, but there were 3 ships like Titanic. So there was an Olympic class liners, 3 liners to build. What White Star Line asked and made agreement with Harland and Wolff to build. So the first one was the Olympic, then Titanic. Like half a year later, they started to build. And Britannic, which was the last one. So the RMS means Royal Mail Ship, and HMHS means His Majesty's Hospital Ship. So as you can see, the Olympic launched on 20th October of 1910 and was out of service and was scrapped in 1935, so 25 years. The life of Titanic was not so long, only like 13 days, and the Britannic lasted a bit less than a year, and it's uncle rubbish. It went on a naval mine during the World War I, and it sunk. So 3 ships, the Olympic first, then Titanic, then Britannic. Yeah, this is the actual photo. So this is the Olympic, and they were building Titanic pretty much in the same time, just like maybe they started like half a year later. So the adventures of Olympic. Before we jump to Titanic, some yeah, fun facts about the Olympic. So it made its maiden voyage in 1911 under the command of Captain Edward Smith, and this is the captain of Titanic as well. So during the Titanic's maiden voyage, he was the captain. The most senior, the most experienced captain from the White Star Line. Even during the maiden voyage, there was some interesting situations happening in the New York. So that's already the thing when it started. Then on the 5th journey, there was a collision with another cruiser. And if we're talking about decisions today, so how the decisions sunk Titanic. So the first decision, to expedite the repairs, there was a decision to take a propeller shaft and other spare parts from the Titanic, which was like in the progress at that time, and use those parts for Olympic. So it delayed the completion of Titanic for like several few weeks. And here we can see the hole after this collision in Olympic. So these two people, Stoker, Arthur, and Stewardess Violet, any ideas why I'm showing you these pictures? Any guesses? No. Eventually,
They
everyone.
have like a crucial role somehow.
So these guys, both of them, they were on the Olympic when it had a collision with a cruiser. They were there on Titanic when it was sinking. They survived. They were there on Britannic when it went on a naval mine. They survived. 3 times. And actually, Arthur survived 3 more sinkings and collisions with the other ships.
And then he was bombed.
Yeah. So timestamp between those events, we're not talking about the decades here. We're talking about like 5 years in between or so for all of them. So 6 times in between 5 years, he was sinking, drowning, and he survived. So yeah. Later on, I'm not sure what's with the text, but Olympic lost the propeller blade on its journey, and what to do now? It's 2nd of March. We have 2 ships in the dock. So the Olympic, it's already in service. Each day in its port, it's lost money. And allocating worker here delays the maiden voyage of Titanic, which was set after 18 days. In the same port, we have back-to-back, this is the real picture at the time, Titanic, which is not finished, which will have a maiden voyage in 18 days. Each day's port lost money, and allocating worker here will delay the reinstatement of Olympic. What to do? What decision to make? And decision was, again, to fix Olympic and postpone the Titanic. And here, if you are familiar with classes of service, right, you know, we have requirements which have like standard classes of service, fixed date, expedite, so the Olympic in this case was the expedite request. So maiden voyage of Titanic was 3 weeks late on 10th of April. So 3 weeks late for a 3-year project. We'll have questions in the end. Yeah? Or
No,
no?
about this slide, it's really 2012?
Oh, sorry, yeah, 1912.
Okay.
So 3 weeks late for a 3-year project. Does it sound bad to you? Or it's like a good project?
It's all right.
2012 sounds more realistic.
So 3 weeks late for a 3-year project. The really tiny fact about 1912 is the iceberg activity. So the maiden voyage was planned for the March, and it happened in the April because of these delays. As you can see, the iceberg activity, the blue column, is quite a bit higher than in March, right? Not sure what happened, but this is the source was the Royal Meteorological Society, so these are the real data. What happens? One more decision which played a crucial role. So the both ships were at the dock, and basically two crews were at the dock: the crew of Titanic and the crew of Olympic. What they decided to do? So they decided that the captain of the Titanic will be Edward Smith, as I told you before. So they took the chief officer from the Olympic. The old chief officer was downgraded to be a first officer. The first officer was downgraded to be a second officer. And any ideas what happened to the old second officer? Bye-bye. And the second officer was the David Blair, and he got this decision from the management like 2 years before the maiden voyage. So he was in the port, he was ready, and he has written to his fiancée that this is a magnificent ship. I feel very disappointed I'm not to make her first voyage. And not so good thing that when he went home, he took a keys from the binocular box. And as you can see in this camera's screen, what they don't have, they don't have binoculars. And when they were asked how much sooner they would actually see the iceberg if they would have the binoculars, the answer was enough to get out of the way. Because they saw the iceberg when it was too late. One more thing, do you remember these guys? Who are they? That's actually, yeah, also screen from camera.
It's an iPhone.
Pretty much, yeah. They were radio telegraphers. So, but they were not. This is actual picture. They were not hired by the White Star Line. They were not employees of the White Star Line. White Star Line didn't pay them any money. There were two of them. How did they make money? Outsourced. They were employees of the other agency. I just don't have like half of pictures. And this is old version of the presentation. Can you get the new one, please? Double check. And they primarily
show the process how
yeah,
to work
okay,
for
cool.
it.
But their primary responsibility was to send messages to the shore for the wealthy passengers and get the messages. And they get paid for each message they send. They also were responsible for the...
You will lose the picture for a moment.
Okay, cool. They were also responsible for getting and sending weather forecasts and iceberg activity messages and passing them to the captain. But they didn't get paid for this. So what was the priority for them? How do you think? To send messages for the wealthy passengers, right? And I hope Edgar will get there shortly. During the day of collision, there were 6 iceberg activity reports from the other ships. And they passed to the captain only the first 2 in the morning. they didn't pass to captain letter for warnings about the iceberg activity. There were like 10 hours in between with no information whatsoever about the iceberg activity. Captain didn't have that information because they were sending messages to the shore, hey, we are spending good time here on the ship. Yeah.
It's the one you sent 5 hours ago, right? Really sure it's this?
Yes, you see the difference. I already saw the difference. Cool.
Maybe the folder was the wrong one.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. One more. Yeah, the Marconi company, and they were sending Marconigrams. The messages were called Marconigrams at that point of time. So here you can see that the first two messages were passed in the morning, and after 10 hours, fleet spotted the iceberg when it was too late. Some other interesting facts. So the Titanic was the largest ocean liner in service at the time it sank in the world. It had many advanced features like watertight doors, automatically shutting watertight doors, which contributed to the ship's reputations as unsinkable. Unsinkable sank in like third day of the work. 20 lifeboats instead of planned 64. Initially, during the building phase, they planned for 64 lifeboats. They ended up with 20. And it was decision of the White Star Line company and Bruce Ismay. And this capacity was only for 30% of the total capacity of the passengers. Can you imagine that? You're going on the cruise and you have only a 30% chance that if it's sinking, you will get a lifeboat. After this incident, it was improved on all the other cruisers and on Olympic as well.
It's called SOLAS system right now, which guarantees that if you ship aboard, you are safe.
Yep.
After the Titanic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Besides, during that point of time, these boats were not meant to ship you, like to bring you anywhere to the coast. They were meant just to bring you between the ships. So you are boarding from the sinking ship and it's bringing you to the rescuing ship, like 100 meters or so. The crew was aware of ice in vicinity, so they were aware that we are going through the iceberg fields and stuff like that, but they did not reduce the speed, and they were going at almost the maximum speed possible at the time. So they were hitting the iceberg with the maximum speed they could. When they sunk, the lifeboats were filled on average by 60% only. Titanic's radio operators, the same guys I showed you before, when they were sending distress calls to the other ships, they have displaced the ships, so the coordinates were wrong by 25 kilometers. So they were sending info that we are on the wrong side of the iceberg. So the rescuing ships were going to the wrong side of the iceberg. And the water was pouring at estimated 7 tons per second. And it was 15 times faster than it could be pumped out. And I also am mentioning here the ice cube tray effect. Any ideas what is ice cube tray effect? So when you have the ice cubes in the trays and you're putting in the fridge, at the top, if you are shifting a bit or tilting a bit this tray, water pours from one like cube to the another. And even so, the Titanic had like watertight compartments, like 26 or so. At the top of the compartment, there was a space, so if it's tilting, the water could overflow to the next compartment. And this happened. This is the real picture of the iceberg which Titanic hit, and in the next morning, and the same morning it sank at 15th night, there was like a red color and water line here. And as the Pythagoras said, so yeah, choices or decisions you are making are hinges of your destiny. So choose wisely what tool to use, which direction to go. In the long run, it can play a bad job with you. Thank you, that's it for me.
All right.
Questions?
Maybe by the beer and pizza.
Yeah,
They
that
do
sounds
the
good.
budget. It arrived approximately 20 minutes ago. Alright, yeah.
Oh, I can see the slides.
Oh no. Okay, so basically it's a game that we like to play on these meetups, and it's called DevOps Karaoke. So basically you have random images, AI generated stock images, whatever. You have 20 seconds for each, and you have to come up with some kind of story. It can be dance, song, story from your life, contemporary performance, whatever you wish. Yeah, and for that we need one brave volunteer who's ready to embarrass himself in front of people.
I remember someone wanted to do it.
My sister left, so it's not fun.
And you chose DevOps engineers, right?
If there are no volunteers, then I'm gonna have to start pointing fingers. And you don't want me pointing fingers.
We can pick someone at random.
I love how like everyone's just like in a classroom, like, oh no, teacher, don't make eye contact.
I mean, we start with those people who were not signing up for the August event.
Class will start first. So I could pick someone at random, like the lady in the second row, maybe.
Yeah, I knew it. She's on. I have a work-life balance now, so no DevOps talks. But okay, let's do it.
All right, do you know the rules?
Yes, I know the rules.
All right, so 20 seconds for each, and let's go. I hope it works. Yeah.
So once upon a time, a team of developers sat there, and there was an incident which was burning. It was burning a lot, so they come together to discuss what's it about and decided to open a ticket. Yeah, and well, there's like people on call which are having their unique tea, enjoying their lives, but they don't know about the fire which is happening at this specific moment. And yeah. So it was rough, it was chaotic, they received the ticket, they started to open their laptops, check what's it about. There was no actual description, it was like everything's down, so we find some dev who opened the ticket and sit him at the table or in the call and ask for the details. Yeah. But as you can see, the dev is silent, so he doesn't know what's happening. So you start to ask like a random question: does it happen in the cloud, or which specific service, or what kind of error do they get? Yeah, and you can see that something is really broken and something not working correctly because of it. Yeah, and all this riot makes everybody really thirsty. Thirsty for knowledge, because actually DevOps sometimes don't know what's happening there as well, so they need to find information. Documentation. Yeah, this actually looks like some of the documentation. You can see it exists. But you need to find a specific thing, but everything is just somewhere. So yeah. Go on to the next slide. And finally you find that keywords to write on the Confluence page to have a proper tutorial what you need to do to fix some services. But it's not like the one which is exactly for that service. And this I would call it a speed Googling. And we just watch while people are Googling. I don't know what's happening there. Oh yeah, they found the solution, so they got to the code like assassins to kill that service and do a reboot. Well, actually, while they were searching for the problem solution, they haven't thought about the old good reboot the service. And yeah, it started and it's working. It's working as it should be, but something's odd. And you are thinking why? Because it's like doing its thing. It's driving, you can steer. Yeah, and then you knew who did that code. And you decided to overwrite it to the proper car. Yeah, so you have done some fixes, which you think that would be removing the chair. But it wasn't that good because it had more connection to the chair than you thought it would have. But you're giving it a shot anyways, because I'm waiting for the next slide to see what's happening. Oh no! Actually, the chair was a crook. Yeah, so yeah, everything's burned, and the issue is a little bit deeper, becoming deeper. So you try to reverse everything to the state when something didn't work, but at least you had an idea what doesn't work.
I guess that's it.
And that's all.
We ended with a bang.
We ended with a bang. Well, we start Googling again.
When your shift is over.
Yeah, and it's not your problem anymore.
Bravo!
Yeah, but that was an ad slide. You lied.
Those technical things.
Right, so I hope you enjoyed those karaoke, and now I would like all this on the stage.
So, pick up.
On your phones.
You stole it. Pick up your phones. No, I see Andris. Andris has been to one of these events. Andris, can you tell us a little bit what's Riga Tech Dinner? What your experience?
Yeah, it's an special VIP networking event for the people who will come because that's their destiny at that point of time. The food is great, the venue is great. If it's the same menu, it is the same menu. So don't bother, just be there, sign up, and add to your calendar. Voila.
He didn't know that I'm gonna ask. This was pure magic. Pure magic. So you know what to do.
And you actually can touch the person sitting near you if he's real person, right? It's not online. It's not.
Yeah, the last time
Picture
we
on the screen.
the last time we had like I don't know some 18 people around the table and we truly were all touching each other. If you're interested in that,
It's some kind of table.
So yes, so Riga Tech Dinner, it's getting organized from time to time, and it's an interesting event for professionals. So if you're interested, come and join. A lot of interesting talks with people, and some people share their stories. And you get tweets as well. Okay, so now we continue with our presenter number 2, Aleksandrs Ivascevs, and with his lovely topic of elevating developer experience, Atea Journey with Space Framework. The stage is yours.
I'm usually sitting, also listening for the different topics, finding some inspirations. And one of the topic I like in the kind of meetups or conferences is like about developer relationships, developer experience, how we can foster. And I really find them useful and always try and help them as much as possible. So I thought maybe I can share our story, what we've done in Atea, and hopefully it can inspire you, maybe someone of you, as it done for us. So yes, today I'm gonna talk about Atea Journey with the space framework and how we try to elevate the developer experience. My name is Aleksandrs. I'm working in Atea for 2 years. Here's my LinkedIn if you'd like to contact and discuss with me some topics. I'm head of Development Center of Excellence, and we've experienced about more or less 10 years in IT. So just for the people who don't know what Atea does, so we are full service IT infrastructure partners. We support the digital transformation for our customers. We provide wide range of the hardware, software, and services. And yeah, helping them with their IT operations. So we have more than 8,000 employees in 7 countries. We are 18 years in Latvia. Here in Riga, we have more than 500 employees, and also we have developer hub here in Riga for all internal development. So yeah, we have external consultancy, but also we develop internal products. So internal products, what is like customer-facing portals, which is internet store, portals. Sorry. We have a lot of customers. We have a lot of internal systems, so we need to create integration between the systems. So we build integration. We're not looking for the easiest way. We're looking for a secure way. So we build out our own digital identity provider. So why not? It's working great, and it's helping a lot of our customers and also helping for our internal systems. And as currently data is everything, we would like to be aligned and know our data, so we also developed our internal data platform. But enough with intro, let's go deeper in the main topic. So from employee experience to developer experience, so how we get there. Probably you remember, a few years ago was a thing, COVID. It's affected a lot of, and affected us, our employee, and affected our employees as well. So we wanted to understand how our employees suffering, how we can help to deal with changes. So we started working, and we implemented employee experience. So basically, you probably have something similar in your companies, like trying to collect data about the physical experience, how they face digital experience, and the cultural experience. But in Atea, we have a lot of different departments, and IT division one of them. But you probably understand developers as a hard audience, and they probably won't say what they're thinking in reality on the scope of the company. And we understand it. So we try to focus on our IT division. So we recognized the problem, and we decided we need to enhance our developer experience and start thinking how it. Because if with employee experience there is a lot of stuff you can take and start onboarding, we didn't have experience with developer. We didn't know where to start or something. So we didn't want, of course, to reinvent the wheel. We wanted to start with something already existing. So we started exploring existing methodologies which we can start using. But probably there's a lot of things you can measure. What's the goal? What we try to identify what we're aiming to achieve before we starting implementing something. In our case, we decided to focus on 3 main let's call pillars. So we wanted to improve the communication. We know we have a lot of different internal teams, and there is a lot of silos. We want to solve it. So we need to focus on communication. Efficiency. Of course, we want to deliver faster, we want to deliver better products, so we need to understand how we can measure and improve our efficiency. And if it's all about satisfaction and experience, we need to understand how our developers feeling inside our company, what they feel really, and how we can help them. So we start searching what is available. If you start looking, I don't know, something in the Google like developer experience, you're gonna find a lot of stuff. Of course, you can, if you like to risk, you can open in, I don't know, in a Reddit thread with four or five committers and saying like, we have a great idea how we can improve. Probably it works, but in reality, we didn't want to risk because we have a lot of employees and we have enterprise. So we focused on the major one, big one. So DORA metrics, probably you have heard about it. It's nothing new. It's basically designed metrics to measure software development lifecycle and delivery performance. There is opportunity focus. From my perspective, it's like its mindset of strategy with prioritize identifying and seeing opportunities, growth, improvement, but it sounds more like something for management, not for the developers. And there is a SPACE framework, which is basically a holistic approach to enhancing developer experience. So for us, it was like, okay, this sounds what we are looking for. Let's explore it. Maybe it will really be useful for us. So what SPACE framework it is? So SPACE framework, it is developed framework by GitHub and Microsoft, and probably, as you guessed, SPACE is an abbreviation for S stands for satisfaction and well-being, which is coming with the performance, activity, and efficiency and flow. And just to make everything work ideally together, of course, in the center of it is communication and the collaboration. So we decided this is really kind of much made in heaven because there is three things what we are looking for, like communication, efficiency, and satisfaction, well-being. Just adding extra from the performance and activity, just like, why not? It's a good benefit. So we decided, okay, let's get a shot. Let's try it. Is it will work for us or not? So one of the main things from the SPACE framework, it's a communication with your developers, understanding their needs. So we've done the survey. It's done last year, and we wasn't really blessed with results. We understand, we find out like 62% of our developers acknowledge that sharing information with other teams in Atea not just working. We understand that 56% of developers described Atea community rather weak and not engaging. It's already giving us red signals. And 30% of developers said they don't find useful internal platform meant to be there. They don't understand our tools and components. So based on the survey with the GET, we understand there is an issue and we need to actively work on it just to improve it. So what we've done, if we've gone a little bit, if you remember, employee experience, we have the same like physical experience, digital and cultural experience. We decided to take the same approach, but with different separation. Physical experience is important, but like collaboration space, hybrid work model, it's a little bit in common with employee experience. So what we really need to focus on the digital experience, like understand the tools, automations, process, and learning resources. And from the cultural experience, we needed to understand if the ways of collaboration, trainings, supporting community, and performance optimization is working good enough for us. So we start to understand what we're trying to focus on, what we try to achieve. And that's why we started working on upgrade of our developer experience. And it's still work in progress. It's a huge work we've done till now, and a lot of work needs to be achieved much more. So I find one resource like we can separate the SPACE framework in 3 bubbles. It just makes sense because if there are 5 aspects you need to always think about, it's more, so 3 is a little bit easier. So from the business alignment, what's important for business? Of course, is performance. From the people management, it's important satisfaction, communication. And of course, what? We are really focusing on generic execution, which is activity, efficiency, and collaboration. So what we start doing after it, we needed to start thinking what we're gonna measure, what we understand how we can improve something. What we've done wrong, we just start enabling a lot of metrics and just hoping it will help us. No, it's not working like this, unfortunately. We understand, so we didn't understand where to focus, what to do. So we disabled almost everything and started from scratch. So, and we started focusing on this. From the business alignment perspective, we decided to focus on the number of bugs are fixed, like how the code quality, metrics, and reliability, story and cycle time. From the people management, we still focusing on the employee satisfaction surveys, burnout rates, and technical debt satisfaction. From the engineering execution, we working on the build and test time, focus time blocks, number of team communication, change use, collaboration tool, and number of completed tasks. As you can see, there is some points like door metrics, because we understand with the default space framework, we can't achieve everything what we want, so we start adjusting it, creating more Atea way, just adding something from the different frameworks as well, just to make it sense for us. So, how do we follow progress? Currently, it's a little bit chaotic, but it's kind of working. So we have 4 main systems where we're trying to focus and understand the performance. We have a surveys, Azure DevOps, yes, we still have Azure DevOps, and SonarQube and Power BI. So how it looks like. So from the survey perspective, we have quarterly anonymous surveys, which we asking our developers to share. Of course, anonymous, we don't collect data, only response. Like from the general, how do you rate overall experience, what you like, what you don't like in the company? From the tools and methods perspective, we asking like, do you confident with our tools and practices we have in place? How you rate efficiency of our systems? Maybe any tools or methodology we need to onboard. Maybe just will make sense, we didn't thought about it. From the collaboration, we're asking like, does team participate in workshops? Maybe they would like to have some additional trainings or workshops we need to organize for them, so make their life a little bit better. And of course, code-based health. We're asking, does team allocate sufficient time for the code refactoring? How they evaluate the code quality and stuff like that. Then Azure DevOps. We've played, Azure DevOps contains a wide range of the marketplace with plugins of everything, almost everything what you would like to do. And we played with these plugins, notes, just understand what we can get information. So we created, tested different custom dashboards. And what we state right now, we're looking like from development team cycle time and the lead time. We're looking from the bugs, incidents, and user story, understand how fast they try to solve it. And yeah, also we're looking from the release health overview and the build, as well as some velocity. Then is the SonarQube. Few versions ago, SonarQube implemented projects when you can contain different pipelines or repositories in one place, and you can see all of you. If you don't do it, please do it. It's really good stuff. So we can see reliability, security vulnerabilities, reviews for security and maintainability for our code. It really helps us to see everything in one place instead of going through all hundreds of the repositories one by one to check it. Then we have Power BI. I think it's not so fancy. We experimenting with it, but it's more focusing on the project deliveries, like how many work items in the current sprint, how the team velocity works, and team burnout and stuff like this. So yeah, it's still work in progress. We working on it almost, yes, already half a year, and we see some results that I would like to share with you. So if you're gonna back to these bubbles, yes, I like word bubbles, it's funny. From the people management perspective, we find out what in this half year of work, overall satisfaction for our developers growing 5%, which is something already. But we can see a little bit more improvements. For example, satisfaction with collaboration increased by 20%. It's already a good sign. And number of satisfied developers with pipeline efficiency increased by 15%. So we start tracking how it works, and we start improving how, talking with the teams, understanding how we can improve their pipelines. From the business alignment, in average, teams that are following our custom created SonarQube gateway qualities, codes will decrease on average by 40%, and number of bugs decreased on average by 10%. So business already happy. This is a good sign for us. From the engineering execution perspective, we can see what the bugs fixed faster, about 16%, and the stories are developed on average by 25%. In some cases, it's more time than in the beginning, but some teams are performing really good. So, based on it, we can see already some improvement without big investment, because we wanted to test it if it will gonna work. As you know, business, like, we need to prove will it gonna work, or we don't want to invest. That's why we had plenty of different systems like SonarQube, Power BI, Azure DevOps, and stuff like this, monitoring everything. So after we get proof and proven for our business and stakeholders, with this approach work, and we need to continue to invest, we started thinking how we can continue improvement. So one of the next steps what we are planning, implementation of software and engineering intelligence platform. So basically every data what we collect right now in 4 different platforms, we're gonna get in one, get some more useful insights for us, just monitoring, maybe it will undercover for us what we really can focus, instead of just, okay, this maybe makes sense or not. Also what we would like to continue to working and focusing on engineering execution. As we understand for now, a big problem for our developers is like content switching frequency, and we would like to reduce it, so developers can really focus on time spent on coding, because developers are best on the coding, not sitting on the meetings. And of course, we see still lacking in our internal development process, and we need to work on it. We have a lot of changes already done through the first half year of it, but we're still seeing the lacks, so we would like to improve it as well. And like, what's the main learning for us? KPI is really tough topic. I assume you probably as well, for you, if I ask you how you feel about implementing KPIs, like, ooh, no way. But yeah, it's true. For the business, probably say, okay, we're gonna measure our developers. We say, yeah, developers, fuck you. So yeah, we understand, and we needed to solve it somehow. And when we started discussion with developers, tech leads, like, no way we're gonna implement, no way we're gonna agree for this kind of implementation. Like developers, like, no KPIs will limit our innovation. KPI will focus on quantity, not on the quality outputs. Our KPI will draw individual competition, but not on the teamwork. Yeah, it's true. If we will just say, okay, we will implement KPIs, it will be first thoughts. But we didn't want to achieve it. We wanted to improve the whole process. We would like to understand how our team are suffering and how we can make lives better. So what we've done, we had a lot of discussion with the tech leads, because they represent the developers who are gonna suffer from the changes we're gonna wanted to implement. So we've talked a lot, and we find the real needs and what from the development perspective they will agree to start measuring. So yeah, this is what is important to talking with them. So after we have find the common ground, they approve it, we start to move. And the main challenge for us, as I already mentioned a little bit, it was understanding what we need to measure it all. So what we've done, we enabled a lot of stuff, which was not the right way to doing it, so we need to start from the beginning. So it was one of the biggest challenges to understand the right metrics for us, just where we need to focus and what we can do with it. And yeah, it's for business. Basically, if your business would like to implement, just say it's not simply just implement. You need to start talking with the tech leads, so with developers understand their needs in the first place. If the developer is going to be happy, then the result will be better. So But still, this is a good thing to consider if your company don't do it. You can propose, but propose in the best way, not on the individual level, but on the team level. So yeah, if you would like to connect with me and talk more about this topic and maybe share your experience with it, you can ping me on LinkedIn, or you would like to find out a little more about the Atea, yes, please go there and do it. And yeah, I assume it's time for the questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you.
Two questions from my side, but before that, I'm super kind of excited to see that someone's using a methodology which is not even 1 year old. And it's not some startup, it's a big enterprise. I believe that kind of 90% haven't heard about space framework as such. It's a completely new thing. So, cool, now questions. First of all, did you set any goals when you started that, or you just tried to kind of implement something new? Were there some goals on top of those KPIs?
So in the beginning, we just wanted to understand the feeling of our developers, how they feel, and based on discussion with the tech leads, what I mentioned before, we understand what we can try to measure. So we get the metrics like, okay, developers not satisfied with the pipelines and stuff like this. So why it can be so? So we started to understand, maybe measuring, okay, the quality of this pipeline. So okay, yes, we can see, for example, build agent is waiting to log. So is it a problem with the agents? Maybe some of the issues with the pipeline. So we started digging and understand, okay, we can fix it, this one, this issue, and as well. In the beginning, we just wanted to improve this quality for how developers feeling, but in the end, it just grow on something more.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, great. Second question. So maybe I am assuming, but I think a lot of people are thinking, well, this is cool, but I don't have time for this at my job. I mean, I don't have time to implement these new ideas because I'm always so busy with DevOpsing. How do you manage to, on top of all the other responsibilities, keep going forward with this initiative?
If you just still waiting, like, okay, I will have a time in half a year, you won't gonna have a time in half a year. So basically, how it done for me, it was like initiative out of work, basically. I started to discussing this approach with the colleagues, and we decided, okay, maybe we need to spend more time. So basically, in the beginning, that was idea like from the free overhour stuff, the growth in the initiative, which is taking part of my allocation in the daily work, because it started proving for the business. But in the beginning, of course, it always depends on the business. If they see the value, if you can sell it really great in the beginning, probably they can get an allocation time, maybe some resources. But it depends. I assume usually every business asking for the proof of concept, which we've done. Yep.
Yeah, I have a question. I also enjoyed this space framework, and I really like that you focus on measuring developers' experience. It's really great. My question is, are you mixing somehow this space framework with other frameworks like Scrum, Kanban, or something else? Yeah.
Yeah, so we are mixing a little bit with Dora. I'm a little bit skeptical on Dora because for some measurements, because I still think it's a little bit focusing on an individual, so it needs to be tuned up for the like team wise, not for an individual. Because if it's going to measurement of individual person, like how they're working, it's already beginning as a regular KPIs, which is we're trying to avoid. So we've trying to get something more like, but we're trying to do it really carefully, just not to be fighting our developers. So before we can implement something, we really need to think, will it make sense, or will it just, okay, our developer start quitting because we start measuring something. So it's you need to find the right balance for your team. So before we done something, there's always a lot of discussions. Will it make sense or not for us?
Thank you.
Yeah, so as I understand, currently you're implementing it in your own company for your own developers, right?
Yeah.
Did you consider that maybe later on you can potentially sell it as a service to customers?
No.
Like it's impossible to sell basically as a
No,
service.
maybe, but because from my perspective, I only focus for internal development. We need to make it better right now because it's still kind of proof of concept-ish or something like this. It just is not ready yet. Just to say, okay, this is really 100% working. 100%. If you start using it, it's gonna work 100% for you. It worked for us in half year. In you, it's gonna work in 3 months. No. So we're still trying to figure out because, as you see, we have different platforms. It is kind of messy right now, and I assume we're gonna find more messy stuff, and it will be complicated in some point. But that's why we're looking how we can simplify for us, like implementing this intelligence platform, which can at least help us just to understand what we can get from the more data, what we can potentially collect, and getting this better result.
Yeah. Another question? Gentleman in the back.
Yeah, I have a question about resistance to change. It's something that I'm currently facing in my position now, and would be very interested if you could share the biggest instance of resistance from developers to this change and how you've handled it.
So yeah, as I mentioned, developers don't like KPIs because, for example, if you're gonna measure sales KPIs, like I've sold, I don't know, for 5 billion, I sell for film, okay, great, yeah. But how we can measure this for the developers? Like I wrote today, I don't know, 10,000 lines of code. Okay, you're a monster. But other colleagues write 5 lines of code. Just does it make sense? This is a worst developer? Probably not. Just bad day or something. Yeah. So what's helped us? It's communication. Because in the beginning, when we started talking about it, like is this with tech leads, they say, okay, you want to business be happy, like you're measuring like some one-to-ones will be easier to or something like this, like our manager gonna say, okay, we know how you work, yes, damn, but it's all about communication, understanding if it will work for the other person, because in the beginning I thought we can measure much more, and it will be just not working. Developers won't like it. For what I recommend, it's like start speaking with, in my case, it was tech leads, just understand the common ground, what they would like to see, what you're gonna see, and to find like somewhere in the middle. I don't know if it's answer to your question or not. Sorry. Yeah.
I would say you're not measuring performance, you're measuring results potentially, and you're trying to measure the quality in the process. Why? Because at this point, what I have seen on the slides, and it's very common for that how KPIs are presented, it's always at the end of something what you have done. And if you want to measure satisfaction or quality or whatever, you have to get into the process. And measuring the process is a bit more challenging, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
And there I'm so actually surprised if you say you are okay, I can understand is that you go for the teams, but basically the factors driving the performance or real performance is the individual, which is contributing to a team, which is contributing to something else. So that means if the individual is not functioning, then the performance will always be something which you cannot measure. What would be your ideas like that? Or what could be really things describing the performance? Ulrich mentioned goals, for example. Goals. You know would you have a definition for the difference between goals and results?
Yeah. From the goals, I think it will be happier developers and better delivery. But we also would like to get better process, as you mentioned, because we see the issues in it, and it's lucky there is a lot of bottlenecks that was identified in the beginning, which really affected on the efficiency. And So yes, it's basically a lot about the process and improving it. And that's why we need to collect the data not only for like one sprint, we just need to overall just understand if it's improving work.
I'm sorry if I'm digging a bit deeper now. You said bottlenecks. That basically what means the goal would be to resolve the bottlenecks.
Yeah.
At the end, if you can see that the bottlenecks are resolved, you have a result. And if the result matches, if you want to measure the performance, as closer as the result is to that what you had as goal, as high as your performance. Just from the logic as well.
Yeah, you can say like this.
All right. Thank you very much for the presentation. If anyone has any questions, we can continue. Alrighty. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
A little present.
A cup from Microsoft.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Yeah.
And now, so now the official part is over, and I hope you did enjoy